Good evening, of Professional Development Committee of the Western India Regional Council, the Institute of Cost Accountants of India. I welcome all of you for the today's ninth session of celebrating Navratri, empowering women's strength and resilience. Our today's speaker, CMA Chaitrali Goswami, ma'am. She is the Chief General Manager and Head Corporate Finance Services Group in ONGC, the energy giant of the country. She is a fellow member of the Institute of Cost Accountants of India. Also, she is a LLB, Master in Finance, MMUS, PGDM from IIM, and a certificate in German language. She is a visiting faculty to reputed universities like Indraprastha University, Delhi, Sri Satya Sai Institute of Higher Learning, Bangalore, and ONGC Academy, to name a few. She has work experience in all fields of finance in various sectors of industry and commerce, and is presently focused on connected finance, artificial intelligence. Chitrali Goswami Madam is a contributor to number of management journals and is an invited speaker at multiple national and global summits. A recipient of multiple awards and accolades, Goswami Madam is a attracting speakers on a range of topics of present day relevance. I welcome ma'am and I request ma'am to kindly start the session now.
Thank you, Pooja. Am I audible to all?
Thank you ma'am. Yes,
Yes.
ma'am. Yes.
Okay. Now, good evening to one and all, and a lot of festive wishes, good wishes from me and my family's side. And I understand this. Everybody is busy trying to be prepared for going out for to look at the Durga Puja pandals, I think, and for their own enjoyment. This is a weekend, happy weekend with 3 days holidays, and that is why I will not make it long. Uh, I am thankful to the Institute for calling me once again to deliver a lecture on this very relevant topic of women empowerment. And it's the most appropriately chosen topic by Institute during this Navratri celebration. And it's a welcome step by the Institute, I must say. And while I feel that participants may have already heard about 8 lectures in this series before me, and a lot of women empowerment have taken place already. So therefore, I thought I would speak about very, in a normal language about equity, equality, and why rather women's gender equality or equity, it should be gender equality. It is rather, but women empowerment is also linked with that. So I would just give a small one liner on the gender equality first. That you may have already heard of a lot of women empowerment and equality and equity, and all these words are buzzwords. But just to put the things in perspective, because they are often intermingled and sort of interlinked with each other. Gender equity, when we say, it is the process of being fair to both men and women, both the gender. We are not talking about the third gender just now, because the third gender would also be included when we say gender equality. And the when UN had seen this as a need to develop on this gender equity and gender equality, the third gender was not taken into account. But over periods in the past 5 years, UN has recognize the need for including the third gender also. Therefore, when we say gender equality and equity, and we talk about men and women, we also include the third gender and other genders. Having said that, the gender equity is the process of being fair, as I said, to men and women. to offer both of them a level playing field equally. To ensure this fairness and strategies and measures and policies we should have, which will ensure the level playing field for all the genders. Now, if we have this level playing field for both the genders, this would lead to equity. Equality. So equity leads to equality. At the same time, equality is not always equity. You all may have seen that famous photograph of three boys and one girl. They are all looking into a football match over the wall, and they are on the other side of the wall, and on the other side of the world there's a match happening. So the boys are taller, so they are all standing on a bench. They are all standing on a bench. So the taller boys are taller, so they can have a better view. The girl is shorter, so she is not having the proper view. Okay, so now here the equality comes. You have given equal opportunity to both boys and girls to view the football match, right? But that is not enough. There comes the point equity. What is equity? I put one brick below the feet of the girl and to make her taller so that she also has the equal view of the field, and then we are talking about equity. So equity and equality has to be understood in these terms. For example, again I'll make it very interesting here, because the paradigm shift that I'm talking about, this paradigm shift will come with from all these examples only. You know, if there is a single glass of milk in the house, and there is a man and another woman, and so usually if the mother is giving to the son and the daughter-in-law, they are the two people who will drink this milk. So the mother has divided the milk into half and half. So do you think it is equity or equality or both? Anybody wants to tell me? Okay, let me put it a
Both,
little more,
both.
little more interesting. Okay, the man goes to the gym. Okay, and the woman, the wife, she is a homemaker. So they are having half of milk. The mother has given half of milk. What is it? Equity, equality, or what? Yes, somebody had said something.
Equity but inequality.
Equity but inequality.
Means the person who needs it most should be given more.
Uh-huh.
The gents, means the boy.
Right, right.
But
Yes,
actually it should be given to both.
both. It is
So
been
equity.
given to both, but the gents would require little more because he goes to the gym.
But if the
Same,
wife is pregnant, then it should be the
yes,
opposite.
exactly.
That
If the
also.
wife is pregnant, then the wife would have the 2/3 of the milk, and 1/3 will go to the men. So this is how we understand now our equity and equality concept is very clear today. So now what is then women empowerment? Why women empowerment we are talking about? Don't men need equity and equality? Do they need or do they not? They will also. They also need. So it is gender equity. It is gender equality. It is not women gender equity and women gender equality. Okay. So it is gender equity and equality. Both the genders of the members should get level playing field, equal opportunity. So far as education is concerned, income is concerned, decision making is concerned, and all other fields in society. Now, usually, why then we are talking about women empowerment all these 8 days, and today is the 9th session. Why are we talking about? Uh, in general, when we talk about inequality, inequality. We see usually the women are falling prey to this inequality and inequity. And the historically for generations together, it is the women who have been getting the lesser share uh, in the society, whether it is food, whether it is education, whether it is decision making, whether it is income opportunities, uh, and so on. So therefore we talk about women empowerment, and that is the precise reason as to why we do not talk about men's empowerment, because the kind of reliance society has placed on men are already enough to make them give the enough freedom, enough opportunity, because they are seen as the bread earner, they are seen as the family caretaker, they are seen as the responsibility taker of the family. So therefore they go out to they get the education. While if two children are there in a poor family and one is boy and one is girl, always the boy will be educated first because the boy would be earning first. So this is the therefore men in a natural course get their bit of share more than the women. Now here we have to make a difference. Haves and have-nots. For have-nots, there are men also who do not get the opportunity. But if we see, we are when we talk of women empowerment, we see the relative opportunities between men and women. We are not seeing a class of society wise here, because even among the haves, we have huge disparity, we have huge disempowerment of women, even in the richest of richest families. And even many societies in like such as tribal community matriarchal societies, the women are much more empowered, like in you go to Meghalaya, you go to Sikkim, all these places where it is mostly tribal dominated community. Their women are always empowered. Mostly they are empowered, they are the people who run the business, they are the people who um, earn the money, they are the people who keep count of everything, they take control of the entire family. And the moment you take control of the entire family and you have the economic advantage, you are also one of the best decision makers, and you also have your right to make the decision in your family. So therefore this inequality exists across society, across country, across economic strata. And you see in some of the families in Rajasthan, even the richest family also does not give equal right to the women. So therefore, what we are talking about here is in comparison with men and not as per the economic condition. So since women always have been the mostly have been the victim of gender inequality, gender inequity. Therefore, we are talking about empowering women. Now, on a day of Ashtami and Navami, also some part of the country, the Tithis are this time colliding. We should not have been, this is a country where we should not have been talking about women empowerment, because the women are already empowered. We are all the Sanatan goddesses are their Shakti. But point is, where along the revolutions and along the civilizational developments these traits had vanished, we do not know. And the male dominated society came up, and there were other minas, social minas had come up, really, attached with the sex of the person, gender of the person. And therefore for protecting the women, so-called protecting the women, they started putting uh, bars and controls on the women folk, and which later on became a andhavishwas, or kind of you know, uh, what we call, it's a evil in the society, and women got left behind. Now, therefore, critical aspect of promoting gender equality is empowering the women with a focus of identifying and redressing power imbalances and giving women more autonomy to manage their own lives. Many societies even today, the women do not have any right to manage their own lives. Gender equality, however, does not mean that men and women are same. Many people think that way. Equality is not, men and women are not same. Equality and equity does not mean men and women are same. They are made for different, made differently. They're made with different traits. They're made, one is good at certain things, the other one is average at certain things. One can excel in certain things, the other one would be struggling to excel in certain things, but those are mostly to do with their physicality, only the physicality. And of course, we know it is women who bears the child. However, without the men, women cannot bear a child also. So there are equity. See, the creator of this universe had built this equity in the society, but the society forgot about it. However, coming to having said all these generalized concepts about gender equality, equity, and women empowerment, and why it is important, that now women empowerment and gender equity should be a concern for men as well. Yes or no? Or is it a concern only for women? No, it should be a concern for men, because men's life is also greatly impacted by the women's life who are there in and around him, be it in his family, in his educational institution, be it in his workplace. So this empowerment and level playing field for women also should be a concern for the men. But above all, only a happy woman can nurture a happy child and can give a good citizen to the society. So that should be another selfish reason for the men to have the women empowerment in their agenda. Now, there is gender mainstreaming, which is a strategy for integrating the gender concerns in the analysis, formulation, and monitoring of policies, programs, and projects. And this gender mainstreaming is extremely important. It has started getting focus from 2006, and over the years we have come a long way. However, this is only a means and not an end. This is an means towards achieving women empowerment. The purpose of gender mainstreaming is to promote gender equality and the empowerment of women in population and development activities. These requires addressing both the condition as well as the position of women and men in the society. So unless we take uh, count of these positionings, we will not be able to gender mainstream actually. So why the gender equality is important? Gender equality is intrinsically linked to sustainable development. Now we are talking about sustainable development. This has again become a buzzword ever since 2018, or maybe a little before that. But from 2018, it has become a much more focused area. So it is gender equality is intrinsically linked to sustainable development, and it is vital to the realization of human rights for all. Just a minute, just give me a moment. Give me a moment. Sorry. Yeah. So the overall objective of gender equality is in a society in which women and men enjoy the same opportunities, rights, and obligations in all spheres of life. The equality between men and women exists when both sexes are able to share equally in the distribution of power and influence. So it is not limited to only how much share I get to eat and how much whether I get to go to school or not. It is the do I have the equal distribution of power and influence and decision making capacity in my family, in my workplace, in my society at all or not? If this one half of the society remains unempowered, remains deprived from decision making, then the society loses that resource, that decision making capabilities. As we all know by now, the values that women bring to the table is enormous. And the data shows that the companies where there are more number of women director, their bottom lines have always improved. These are the already the research data. So unless this section of the society is empowered, is equally participating in the process, in whether it is socially, politically, economically, in education, this the entire society becomes a loser. So it is the responsibility of the entire society. If we are talking about becoming the third largest economy of the world and things like that, but there, this sustainable goal, this ESG goal number 5, women's empowerment, is extremely important to be focused, and the importance cannot be overemphasized. So there are certain areas where people have conducted studies, even small. It seemingly may seemingly may look very small, but these are very important areas, like uh, right to sex, right to have a child, right to decide the time to have a child, right to use of contraceptives. Uh, even these things also, there have been extreme deprivation of equity and equality in women folk in the society. However, how far we have been talking about women empowerment since, as I said, more very more directly focused since 2018, but before that also. But how far have we come? Have we come a long way? There are studies which World Bank has conducted. There are studies which UN has conducted. So I would like to give you a little bit of data here. In August 2022, there's a midpoint assessment by UN Women, and UN Women has done this assessment on the Sustainable Development Goal number 5, that is women empowerment. And it says like this: the Sustainable Development Agenda adopted by UN member states in 2015 set a goal or deadline for 2030. They said by 2030, the entire world, these member states would be 100% compliant with the women empowerment. So when this study was being done, this was done in August 2022, that is 2 years before that. Already only 8 years were left. And today, as I'm talking, only 6 years are left to meet the deadline. 2030 was the deadline. And the member states are nowhere. They are just nowhere. They are completely off the track, not even on the track. So that is how much importance on action it has showing. See, speaking, everybody is speaking, there are a lot of seminars happening, there are a lot of declarations happening, deadline setting is happening, but in action it is not the speed that is required. Now I will talk about the speed, and which is showing for century or more advance towards women's social, economic, political and legal equality has been slow, but quantitative data indicates progress, at least in terms of numerological parity. The number of girls forced into early marriage has reduced. Then more number of girls are going to school. More women are taking up, parliamentary career. More number of women are in leadership positions, and more lawmakers are there who are women. So all these figures show a growth, but the population is also growing. So these absolute numbers do not talk of anything actually. In its analysis of 8 indicators, there are 8 indicators on which these analyses were done. One is mobility, the second one is workplace, third one is uh, pay parity, fourth is marriageable age, that is. Next is parenthood, then the next one is entrepreneurship, and then the seventh one is asset, and the last one is pension. So the World Bank had done a study on these parameters. What has been the global progress? So in 2018, women and men had equal legal rights in 6 countries, according to the World Bank. By 2021, the women and men had got equal rights in 10 countries only. So in 3 years, only 4 countries added who have given equal right to men and women in these parameters. So you can now imagine the progress, the slow progress of of the world rather. The global gender gap, that is empowerment in terms of all these parameters, the gender gap uh, in terms of these rights and equality of men, and these rights, equality of women in terms of these parameters. In 2018, the gender gap, which has been tracking gender-based disparities since 2006, the benchmark countries across dimensions of education, health, economic, and political system projected that the overall global gender gap would close in 108 years. So another 108 years we need to close these gender gap. It's just mind boggling. 108 years one has to wait, so that at this rate, at this pace, whatever the current pace is going on, that is why I'm talking about this paradigm shift that is really, really needed. And so 108, this is according to the 2018 study. In 2021, the same World Bank, who had studied again the pace of the progress, it says that no, sorry. In 2019, again they took up a study. 2018 they said 101, 8, and 2019 they again took up a study, and they said that it would take about 100 years, less than 100 years. They said about 99.5 years, so it is less than 100 years. So we were hopeful. Okay, 108 has now become 100 years. But in 2021, the entire process started getting reversed. Instead of bettering, instead of 108 to 100 to say 80, 80 to 70, in 2021, the entire process started regressing. And now the time given to close this gender gap is 135.6 years, all time high. Any comment on this? Why this is happening? World has not stopped talking about women empowerment. World has not stopped making policies to make equalities and equity a policy matter. Then why this has happened? Then why it has reversed? Anyone who would like to say a comment on this? Okay, I thought you'd be able to say about it. One of the major factor is COVID pandemic. It is the COVID pandemic, economic crisis that is associated with the pandemic has taken us back to many more years, because there were more than crores of women who had lost job. There were crores of women who had to leave job. There were children who could never again go to school. There were schools which were closed down. There were economic devastation faced by almost all countries of the world. So this is being the major cause. The study showed that now we are talking about, now again in 2022, 2021, I said 135 years, we said. COVID pandemic continued to 2021, even little bit of 22. A study in 2022 showed the pattern continues to track back, and now we require 286 years to close the gender gap, according to 2022 study. Now, hopefully 2024 study will show some progress, but we have come back so badly. See, 108 years we were there, and from 108 years we are now in 286 years. So what kind of emerging paradigm shift one is talking about is mind boggling. The emphasis has to be much more enhanced on ground level, at all level, right from the mother-in-law treating the daughter-in-law equally and equitably like her daughter, the daughter-in-law treating her mother and mother-in-law equally and equitably, the husband treating his wife equally and equitably like he treats his maybe women colleague, women friends, or many such, you know, examples. The workplace having to make much more women friendly, giving women much more opportunity than they need, giving women that one brick during their maternity leave to bridge the gap, and not cut their promotion during that time, not cut their increment at that time just because they went for the maternity leave. Because if they stop producing children, the men will go nowhere. The world will go nowhere. The species will extinct. Can't we give that one brick to those women? You know, our ancient scriptures say women should not be permitted to work during menstruation. During ovulation, that is non-menstruation time, after menstruation, during ovulation, women are tenfold stronger to work and their efficiency increases manifold. So women, if you give them these 3 days of rest during menstruation, they would give you 10 times the output in the other times. Can we not bring such kind of awareness in the society, in our men folk, in our policy makers, in our mother-in-laws, in our mothers, in our sisters, and in everywhere? So this is our scripture who is saying. Now maternity leave has come. Of course, we have come out with paternity leave and things like that. But Is the father able to take care of the child the way the mother would, or mother is required to? The answer is no, always. Because the roles, the genes, the requirements, the feelings, the capacities are different. Now, if we still talk about we have to fight for a pay parity, if we have to fight for a 1 day extra leave, then the world will not 200 and 86 years, but it will take us 500 years for this parity and equity. So it has become an urgent call, an urgent requirement that we work in on ground with with a what you call heightened commitment. Our commitment should be heightened, much more heightened and visible. Not only we limit it to holding seminars and conferences, but it has to come in policies. So, as I said, I'll not take much time. The women empowerment is, to conclude, not an abstract concept actually, but a social transformation that takes place when women are afforded equal rights and opportunities. It is a shift in consciousness and a breaking of barriers. She is allowed to flourish and have a fulfilled life. The goodness comes back to the society in return in terms of nurture, care, which are her inherent qualities, and in terms of bringing better children to the society. As advances are made in education, economics, politics, and society as a whole, the world moves closer to realizing the vision of a truly equitable society. It does move closer, but by empowering the women, societies unleash the full force of their potential, fostering economic growth, social progress, and sustainable development. And individuals, communities, and nations, as individuals, communities, and nations, we must strive for women empowerment, recognizing its immense value and the benefits that it brings to all of us. Only by empowering women can we create a world that is just prosperous and harmonious for current and future generations. In the face of the imperative to advance women's equality, constructive attitudes and approaches are urgently needed to translate theory into practice, as I have been saying, and to stimulate further social change. Cir- Circling back to the SDG assessment, the message is very, very clear. The SDG assessment UN message has, which is in the UN Women uh, from the para 2 of 2022A. You can refer if you want whenever. Without heightened commitment from the global community, gender equality will remain nothing more than unrealized goal, because with 286 years it is as good as a goal that is remaining unrealized. The time to act and invest in women and girl is now. It is now or never. Otherwise, once again, we do not know which way the society will go, given the recent you know um, mishaps, uh, like RG Kaur of Kolkata, given the kind of struggle just for a secured workplace one had to do over 2 months. I think these women empowerment, equity, equality are distant dream, because the equity that we are talking about for women are not in terms of their capability of giving what they can give to society, but for keeping them safe, for keeping them safe for reproduction, for keeping them safe to contribute in the society, for keeping them safe to give fearless treatment to the patient, if it is a doctor, if she's a teacher. She should be fearless to teach. She should be fearless to give a, equal marks if she's a officer or a staff in an organization. It should be a place where she should be feeling fearless and equitable to go up to the seniors and put her problem. We have at grassroots level, we have much difficulties everywhere, in every nook and corner of the society. We do not have to look for it. It is just right in front of us everywhere, be it home, be it society, be it workplace, be it college, office, anywhere, be it politics, everywhere. So it is very sad to conclude on today's day, while we can only pray and hope that it will be better, but it is almost an unrealized dream today, unless we heighten our focus and efforts for an absolute paradigm shift. Thank you. I'm open for questions.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, yes, I'm here. So did you all enjoy?
Any other
Did you all
question?
enjoy?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Mm,
We are sitting in our seminar hall for your session, ma'am.
okay, okay.
Madam, I
Yes,
have
I
one
guess.
question.
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
Vaishali.
You
Please.
told ki if a lady is given leave during her menstruation for 3 days, her output of or productivity will increase in the other days.
No, no, it is
No?
not. No. Whether you give her leave or not,
Huh?
the output of productivity during ovulation after
Huh?
menstruation, it is
Huh?
in general in women, it increases.
But then
So,
what you told
but
about 10
she
times?
but she should be given the rest, but she deserves a rest during menstruation.
Huh?
All of us, we
Huh?
deserve little rest during menstruation,
Hmm.
but nobody is willing to give us that menstruation. But we do give our, we do not keep back our effectiveness when during ovulation, when we are really really heightened in our spirit. We do not say no, no, I'll not give all this spirit because I didn't get leave. We do not do. We give back to society openly, but we are deprived of that 1 or 2 days rest. Forget about menstruation. Even when you take maternity leave, they don't promote you for, they don't count that period for your promotion. How unfair is that?
No, means during the last, say, 400, 500 years, in our society, ladies used to sit aside in some other room for three
Right.
days. That is why I'm asking, what was
Yeah.
why they people miss
I,
our
I,
older people knew this, that it is
this
required.
Yes, there are two aspects about it. One was the hygiene part of it,
Huh?
because the modern sanitary pads and all were not there at that time. So there a corner was kept for them. Initially, they used to be sitting on hay, the paddy hay, later, and those used to be burnt later on. But later on, they started using cloths. Then, of course, the pads. The second reason was so that because she continuously works 24/7, she works. So these 3 to 4 days she would automatically get some rest for that. So these are the two purposes. One was hygiene, the other one is rest. Hygiene, okay, we have come along, we have sanitary pads and tampons today, but the rest part is
No
gone,
rest.
vanished, totally
Hmm.
vanished. So that
Okay.
is one thing. And of course,
Okay.
these pay parity is a very, very big issue. But having said all these, I must not mention, but sometimes I feel like mentioning also. Sometimes our women also take advantage of all these things. Not that men do not, but when men take advantage, I think they're smarter in telling lies. They're smarter in telling, some women, they would say, they will make lame excuses and then they will take leave and things like that. So then the men folk, seniors, they lose faith on every woman. So one woman spoils the case for other woman. So, but those are smaller issues. In general, the main is, even if you're equally earning, women are not given equal opportunity, right, to decide on their economic spends. Only men who decide. We are not talking about upper middle class. We are not talking about elite. We are talking middle class and lower middle class. They're not given. But I have seen in upper middle class, when women or men are working, women just give up. Just, why to fight with my husband? I have given up. I earned the money. He only takes care of the entire account. What is this nonsense? Why can't you come up and you also take the responsibility of keeping the money, how much you should keep, how much you should spend, and all that? So empowerment also is by seeing by example. Suppose I live by some example, two women around me may, learn from me, seeing me. So we must talk about all these with our girl talks, women talks. Okay, no, we must not leave the all money on our men's hand. Not that they will misuse, but for me to be more confident, for me to feel more important, for me to be more accomplished, that yes, oh, so good today. Like today, I did the entire my puja room and altar, and I cleaned. I've so many days I've been, I don't even look at that side. It's all so shabby. But today I feel so empowered, so satisfied, so happy. That means what? I did nothing. I just cleaned that place. But sense of achievement, having managed everything. Okay, I managed the house, I managed the cooking, I managed the going office, I managed the puja, I managed to buy the groceries also, I managed to some guests also, because my husband is today away, so I have managed something else also on his. It is, what does it mean? It is not to boast. It gives you sense of so much of achievement. It keeps your brain active, it keeps your body active, and your entire environment, whatever sadness you may have, it gets a chance to focus, change the focus. Otherwise, suppose I keep sitting, I see only the TV, or I'm sitting today only doing one thing, brooding on one thing, then my life also does not get that fulfillment the day it should be. But when I do multiple things in a day, even if I'm not required to, but money is something that you require to know what is being happening with your money. If I talk of Shastra, I must take control of my money, and my money should be going to a good cause, good nutrition. Why will I be, oblivion of as to how my money is being spent by someone? Okay, we can jointly discuss, jointly decide, jointly spend, but let me at least be part of it. But no, he will quarrel, so I will not. No, that if we start, we should not give up. We should start encouraging each other. All women are friends. Encourage each other to be courageous, to be polite but courageous. Being courageous does not mean you should be aggressive. Being courageous means you can speak when you want, you can assert, but not aggressively. Politely one can always assert, always one can say. So these are the small team building exercises, team building, girl talks, some kitty party talks, some societal talk. In whatever level we women work in our society, we should talk constructively these way, and encourage. Like I encourage my cook, she's a very nice lady, but I try to encourage her how she should go about. And now she talks about school administration of her children with me. She discusses as to why this, and then I tell her, no, this is not like that, that is okay. Then she thinks and she gets an information tomorrow, and then again she comes and discusses with me. She feels empowered to discuss with the chief general manager of ONGC. I don't put her down. Then slowly she will start taking, decision of her family of her own. So there is lot to do. And if you have cooperative men, they would also come up and they would also encourage. And once you are polite and assertive, I think your counterparts also would understand and give you that space. Would give you that space. These are very critical subjects, very critical topics. But at a broader level, at a policy level, at a mass level, uh, that Jagriti, the Jagran has to come. It is not yet arrived. It is not yet arrived. It is not yet arrived. I can see a lot of, there are a number of men in the program. I am happy they are part of it. I hope they would appreciate and understand and agree with whatever we have been discussing. I can see Shubham, then maybe Shubham.
Yeah. Yeah, hello, ma'am.
Shubham,
Good evening.
your concluding thoughts. You're a very important part of our lives.
Oh, thank you so much.
So it has to be a joint effort at every level. At every level, it has to be a joint effort.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, ma'am.
Mm. So Gauri Puja, I think we can conclude with
Yes,
a
ma'am.
lot of good wishes to one and all. Thank you all for coming and joining. And
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
it is just ek diya hi kafi hai, because each 8 of us, if we take it to another 8 of us, and those 8 again takes to another 8, the tree expands like that. So it is not the number, but it is those 8, whether they are active and they will take it forward. That is important. नहीं तो only hall भरने के लिए तो बहुत ही auditoriums होते हैं हमारे पास. But if people have joined today, it really shows that they are keen on the subject, they're keen on this matter, and they're serious about it. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
On behalf of Western India Regional Council, I express our gratitude for your valuable insights, ma'am, and your time, ma'am. Thank you very much, ma'am.
And happy
Most
Navratri.
Happy
Happy
Navratri
Navratri.
to all.
Happy
Happy
Navratri.
Navratri. Happy
Thank you,
Navratri.
ma'am.
Happy Navratri, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.